Good afternoon and welcome to the 330 Sports Show. My name is Justin Coffin. This is Joe Midlick. Joe's been on, you're a recurring
a few
guest.
times, yes.
But today, Joe is going to co-host with me, and we'll explain why here in just a minute. But it is February.
February 1st.
Like signs of spring. It's nice outside. This is awesome. So thank you for tuning in. This is a special edition of the 330 Sports Show. We will talk a little sports on here. We're going to talk a lot of music today, which is awesome. That is not my strong suit. I love music, but I'm not musically inclined, but we will get to all that stuff here in a little bit. But before we bring our guest on, before Joe and I start firing some questions at him, let's go ahead and have a quick word from some of our sponsors down here at Youngstown Studio. You got it, Joe?
Don't let the weather keep you from working on your golf game. Golf year-round at The Bunker. They have 12 state-of-the-art golf simulators, including numerous putt-putt courses. Enjoy unlimited golf for $50 a month by becoming a member. Visit thebunkersp.com or stop by in person. The Bunker, inside the Southern Park Mall. This program proudly supported and brought to you by Eric Cromer, Cross Country Mortgage, a wiser way to mortgage. This program proudly supported and brought to you by Youngstown Computer, the Valley's IT company.
All right, we're back. So again, Joe Midlick. Joe, say hi to everybody. Tell them
guys.
Who you are.
My name is Joe Midlick, and I'm president of Once a Cowboy, Always a Cowboy. It's a golf outing that we raise money for the Cheney alumni. I'm a Cheney graduate. So is Dave over there. I just stepped down from the Youngstown Marathon. I was president of the Youngstown Marathon. Actually, yesterday was my last day, and I'm moving on. Biggest reason why I stepped down is because we're moving the marathon up to September, which is only 3 weeks away from our golf outing. And quite honestly, I could not do both. So yeah, since this is my legacy, I'm sticking with that.
No doubt. No doubt. And you did a great job over there. And I know you're going to continue to support them and also keep killing it with the Cheney golf outing, which you guys take up all of Mill Creek Park.
We
so
sure do.
We'll have you back on for a future show for that. So without further ado, before we bring our guest on, let's give you a quick highlight reel of some of his performances.
Shake for me, shake it, baby. Shake it, shake it, shake it, baby. Shake it, shake it.
All right. So without further ado, Mr. David Perrico. David, thank you for joining the 330 Sports Show.
Hi, guys. Great to be with you. It's my pleasure.
Well, so David, you're out? Are you in Vegas right now?
Yes.
So let's just start with back Before you got there, tell us about your roots here in Youngstown.
Oh, I'm from the west side of Youngstown. Grew up on the west side by St. Christine's. As Joe knows, my family's grandparents lived on Bella Vista.
Exactly where I lived.
Yeah, I went to Kirkmere Elementary, Volney Rogers Junior High, Cheney High School, YSU, graduated from Dana School of Music.
I mean, so about as Youngstown as it gets right there. And you moved out, correct me if I'm wrong, to Vegas about 2004 in that time frame?
Yeah, August of 2004.
Okay. So what was the thinking? Did you have a plan when you moved out there, or was it just like, I'm going to Vegas, that's where all the entertainers are? Was there a plan, or was it just like a spur of the moment thing?
That's a good question. There wasn't a plan to move out to Vegas. I was on the road with the Tommy Dorsey band from 94 to about 2000, 2001. And when 9/11 happened, everything kind of just, was decimated, very similar to kind of what happened in COVID. Not as bad, but the traveling really became very hard because we were doing about 40 weeks a year on the road. So I was kind of dead in the water, and I thought about moving to New York, but obviously I couldn't move to New York. That was always my plan. And I was offered a graduate assistantship at UNLV to do my master's degree in composition and jazz studies. So in short, I figured I'd just kill 2 years and then move to New York or go back on the road, but I'm still here.
Sometimes the best plans are plans not made. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's really some of the best things that have ever happened to me. I've never intended.
That's great.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, at what age did you start playing the trumpet?
9 years old.
9 years old. In fact, somebody just told me it was your Aunt Anita, who I graduated from high school with, that at a lot of these birthday parties that you would go to as a young child, you would go up to your grandmother, and she said that your trumpet case was as big as you at this time.
Yeah.
And then you would go up to your grandma Carmel and say, "Can I play now? Can I play now?" I guess you were a showman from not 9 years old.
I guess so. Yeah, I used to always want to play it. Yeah, that's funny. The story is my dad played saxophone and clarinet.
Right.
And then, so I had a clarinet, and when it was time to join the band, I figured I'd be a saxophone player like my dad. So I went to Kirkmere and had my own clarinet, didn't have to rent, and there weren't any trumpet players in the band. So the director at the time, James Ramsey, gave me a trumpet. He says, "Why don't you try it?" And here we are.
Yes.
Went to school with a clarinet, came home with a trumpet.
In fact, coming to the show today, I was listening to your album, the live one, and I was listening to Dr. Feelgood and Crazy. What great songs. I mean, outstanding.
Thank you.
So, David, I'm going to be all over the place with my questions because one, I am not musically inclined. I am jealous watching that highlight video and wish I could do any of that, any instrument. I'm just not that. That's not me. And people that have the talent like you, like someone that's going to join you, like a vocalist like Jackie coming up from the Vindies, people like that with special talent, it is just such an awesome skill to have. So my question for you is, when, was it that first time you picked up an instrument? Was it, with your dad, you mentioned he played a lot of instruments. When did you foster that love for music?
I think it was early on. I wouldn't say at 9. I mean, somewhere around in my teenage years. I mean, 13, 14, 15, when I really wanted to play baseball and football and golf and basketball, but I was just always better at music, and I was just seemed to be excelling in that. But I was really dedicated to it, just like any sports. I mean, practicing 3 to 5 hours a day and band practices and band competitions. And my parents took me everywhere to concerts. And so I guess I fell in love with music then, I'd say early teens, 12, 13, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, what Justin just mentioned about Jackie performing with you. One of her bandmates, Rick Deek, graduated from Cheney too. In fact, he graduated in 1989, just a year after you.
Okay, I probably know him then. I think I do.
Good guy, great guitarist, good songwriter.
I love the band. I've been following them from afar, and I'd never met Jackie, but I've been following them.
Yep. In fact, Jackie is as beautiful on the outside as she is on the inside. She actually ran in our half marathon relay this past year. She was trying to keep up with Justin, but she really couldn't do it.
It might have been the other way around. Might have been the other way around. But yeah, so let's just, that's a perfect transition. Let's go right into that. So tell us about this upcoming show that is here in Youngstown. Tell us all about that, and how that got started and all that stuff.
Yeah, I've been in talks with Youngstown State, a little bit Dana School of Music, about maybe coming in and doing what they call master classes or a clinic or something. And then I was like, what if I bring in the band, the Raiders House Band, do a concert? And then I wrote the Youngstown song, Youngstown Steel Town, 2 years ago. And I sent it to Danny Deere, who is the head of the Dior Performing Arts.
Okay.
And our conversation started. And then I had recently put together what is called this Pop Symphonic show, which is my own symphony here in town, 70-piece. But the whole thing about Pop Symphonic is for me to go out as a guest conductor soloist and plug into symphonies with my band and put on a pop symphonic rock show, all the hits, all genres. So that's basically what's going to happen on Valentine's Day night is all my arrangements of all this, there's going to be a little bit of something in there for everybody. 70s classic rock, 80s, 90s, current stuff today, disco, you name it. It's all in there. So that's really what's going to happen. And with Jackie, again, like I was saying with the Vindies, I've been following them, and they're from Youngstown. So I'm really proud of that, that they're doing their thing, and Jackie's quite exceptional. And I look forward to meeting her in person. And I had just sent her the music the other day, which she's going to sing on.
That's outstanding. So when you're a guest conductor with, for example, the Youngstown Symphony Orchestra that you're going to be playing with at Dior, you don't get the practice time, with them like you do with your own people. So how does that process work?
Yeah, basically, the music gets sent to their librarian ahead of time. In this case, about 4 weeks ahead of time. They have everything, and they have some of the links of the music that we're playing that they can refer to. And, once you get to the pro level, those music, any music or any pro symphony orchestra is used to just a 1 or 2 day look at the music. We'll step through it and count it off. And I'm not a big I'm not into big rehearsing either. I really I trust the team, as it were, and just play ball.
Sounds like a good head coach right there.
Yep.
Well, sports is very, very similar in so many aspects.
Absolutely. At the Las Vegas Raiders House Band, when you perform there, do you have other guests that come up and perform with you during that time? And if so, name some of the guys and ladies.
Yeah. So the Raiders House Band, we play the pregame sets. We play during the game, sometimes halftime, and then depending if we're playing halftime, like we had John Kay from Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
Born to Be Wild. We did a halftime show with him. Sammy Hagar from Van Halen. Dionne Warwick, Rachel Platten, Lone Star. There's quite a list.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Sure is.
That's so cool because, just watching some of your highlight films, I've actually haven't been out to the Vegas since that stadium has been built. So tell us a little bit about that venue and what it's like playing, because you guys are pretty high up from like what I've seen. Tell us about what that's like playing in front of, what is it, 60 to 70,000 people? What is that like?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, the energy and, Raider Nation, I should say, the fans are about as equivalent, but not quite as crazy as Cleveland Browns fans. So I can relate, like with the Dog Pound and Raider Nation, there's just an energy there that's insane. And, the Raiders, with their entertainment production staff, they really value live entertainment, as you can see. And we're the only 19-piece live band with a full string section at an NFL game that's hitting every commercial cue and every cue. So it's quite an honor. And, the excitement of playing in front of 65,000 people, it's really awesome.
Yeah. That's fantastic. And I like the little Browns drop there. I'm obviously a Browns fan, but I looked at the schedule next year. I believe Cleveland is coming out to Vegas. So I'm pretty sure that's you might get some Youngstown / Cleveland fans out. Maybe me
A road trip
out in Vegas.
road trip?
Well, I'm flying. No driving out there, but yeah, we'll hit that up. No doubt.
Yeah, they'll be. Yeah, definitely. I'm sure my family will be out there. My dad and George Denny, of course.
Oh yeah, yes.
By the way, thanks George for spearheading this interview. Yeah, he's my brother's godfather. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, very close with the Perrico family.
Oh,
very nice.
Very cool. Yeah, in fact, as you know, I grew up with Anita. We were like 7 doors down. Her and I went to St. Brendan's together, and then West and Cheney. She was actually my 9th grade French tutor because I was doing really poorly in French. And Carmel went to my mom, said, Anita's really good at this. She could tutor Joey. So we did that. She tutored me, and your Uncle Tommy was a little jealous at the time that she was tutoring me at her house.
Uncle Tommy, yeah.
Yep.
So David, let me ask you, you perform obviously a wide collection, a wide eclectic version of music. Like one of my favorite things I heard you guys play was right around Christmas time. You did like the Carol of the Bells, I think. That song gives me chills no matter where I hear it, when I hear it, but that was fantastic. But I see you guys are playing Bruno Mars, you're playing, like you said, 70s, 80s, 90s, everything. How do you choose the music you're choosing?
That's a great question. I would say a lot of it comes from trial and error, from audience response.
Okay.
We've been the Raiders House Band, which is Pop Strings Orchestra. We've had several residencies in different strip properties here at the Palms, at Red Rock, and we spent 4 years at Caesar's Palace, Stratosphere. We play at the Smith Center for Fine Performing Arts. But basically at Caesar's Palace, Cleopatra's Barge, for 4 years, we played every Thursday, Friday, Saturday night.
Wow. To
a packed house. And it was a high energy dance show, and then you learn kind of what songs people really resonate with.
Mm-hmm.
That's one way that I've kind of developed our repertoire list. And, we're here to entertain, and when people come to see us and paying money, I want them to have a great time and resonate with something. Oh, I know that song, or I know that song. Mm-hmm. Even if they don't know it, they kind of resonate with it. So things that people can sing along to, like anything by Journey or any of those anthems,
right.
Don't Stop Believing or Shook Me All.
Joe and I were just talking about The Sopranos last week, and Don't Stop Believing will always hit home now with that last scene of The Sopranos. Not giving out any spoilers, but that's fantastic. Now, to follow up on that, let's say the Raiders, it's not their day. They're down 24-7 in the third, fourth quarter. Does that affect the type of music you play? Do you throw stuff out? Do you add stuff in?
No, we definitely don't. The production show caller, he will back off. Like, we don't play. We don't want to. Yeah. If they're doing, if they're not doing so good, then we're not doing so good.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
We just kind of hold back. But when the team is doing great. Especially we play every field goal, touchdown, interception, 20-second, 30-second, 1 minute here, 2 minute here, breaks. They'll really amp it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So very it's definitely the tempo of what we do is based on the team's tempo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So coming back to Youngstown, I'm sure you're looking forward to having some of this Youngstown noted food like Briar Hill pizza and other stuff like that. So I'm sure you'll be getting some of that stuff.
Yeah, they asked me what the fee was for the band. I said Briar Hill Pizza, and we're good.
There you go. Yeah, in fact, I understand that, through George Denny and Julie Ranson that we're having a little after party at Penguin City.
Yeah.
Penguin City is a really cool place. They have the best beer in the area, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in person there. We do have some Once a Cowboy, Always a Cowboy gear for you. So when you come into town.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I mean, I'm really looking forward to, seeing friends, family that I haven't seen for quite a while. And of course the food, Youngstown pizza is the best in the world.
Yep.
I've been all over the world. I'm serious. And Youngstown pizza, Youngstown food in general, it's right up there. It's the best.
Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, talking to Bobby Petrus, who you graduated with, and Mike Steica, they're all looking forward to seeing you.
It's going to be a Cheney High School reunion.
Yep. I mean, anything from the class of 66 up until now. So who knows?
That's awesome.
That's fantastic. Cheney has produced a ton of talent. I mean, I know in this area, the only Heisman Trophy winner in this area. Yeah. And, just not just professional athletes, but lots of talent.
Oh yeah. In fact, when you think about music, I mean, we have David there, but we had Dick Belly of the Human Beings, who also went to Cheney. Dennis Sosonsky of Left End, another of the Michael Stanley Band, another Cheney graduate. So yeah, I mean, Cheney is really noted for the music. We're like a little bit of a cult where we all stick together.
The West Side. I mean, when I was there, Zordich and Olszewski.
Yeah.
Played on the Cowboy, and they went on to the NFL.
Right.
Great career. I think son is playing too. If I'm not right.
Right. You were probably there when Ron Burtis was coaching for football, right?
Yeah, and McNally was the basketball coach.
Okay. Yeah. Jim.
Yeah. I remember playing in that Cheney High School old gym that was about 10 feet shorter, it felt like, on each end, but that was a fun environment. Everyone's right up on top of you. But yeah, Cheney High School, a lot of talent has come out of there. So David, let me ask you this. You've met, you named a ton of musicians you've interacted with and worked with. Do you ever, now that you've met, all these famous musicians, and I'm sure you've met a lot of other people out in Vegas, do you ever get starstruck by anybody that's like, oh, it takes you aback a little bit?
I think you become desensitized to it because we're just working. I wouldn't say starstruck. I would say reverence comes into I have a lot of respect and reverence for some of these entertainers. One that really blew me away was Natalie Cole.
Okay.
Was great. Donnie and Marie are fantastic. Sammy Hagar was awesome. I think it's more of reverence, working with these amazing headliners.
No doubt. Yeah. Talent, recognized talent.
Right.
Yeah, go for it, Joe.
Do you get to interact with any of the football players on the Raiders? And if so, tell us some of the crazier guys on the team.
Yeah, I do. The current roster, not so much, but a lot of the past, a lot of the alumni I do interact with. One would be 3-time Super Bowl champion offensive tackle Henry Lawrence. And Henry Lawrence played, I think, from 73 to 81 or something like that. Okay. So I've become friends with him, and he's also a singer. He sang with us at a couple games, couple events. We did a Hall of Fame party for Coach Tom Flores.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me, Coach Flores, which was awesome. Jay Schrader, but Henry Lawrence, he was called Killer, and every once in a while I'll get a text from him, or he'll call me up and he wants to talk. We'll talk about all kind of stuff and
Right.
the players then, and what from Jim Plunkett to Ken Stabler to Lester.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, he's got all the dirt.
Yep. I mean, growing up, I was always a Browns fan, but my second favorite team has always been the Raiders. I mean, they have that mystique about them. Love their uniforms. Big fan of Fred Biletnikoff, Jack Tatum during the days, and Kenny the Snake Stabler. I mean, what a bunch of renegades, and what a great team. And John Madden as head coach.
I'm sorry, say again.
And John Madden as head coach. I mean, gosh, what great teams then.
Yeah. But yeah, I do enjoy connecting with the players, mostly the alumni.
Yeah.
And the Raiders have such a family-oriented, insular scenario. Like, once a Raider, always a Raider.
Right.
Very similar to the Cowboys.
The Cowboys, you got it. That's right.
Definitely a mantra out there. It's awesome. Now, David, I got to ask you about not your attire today. We love the Youngstown Clothing Company, but I've seen and City of Champions on there. I've seen a lot of your videos, a lot of your clips. I cannot pull off the outfits that you do. You look good in them. You pull them off well. Who chooses the outfits, and do you give them? Are you in charge of that, or is it someone else picking that stuff out for you?
Yeah, I generally do my own styling, and it's just based off of Doc Severinsen.
Yep, that's what I thought.
I don't know Doc Severinsen.
You don't know Doc Severinsen?
I do not. No, you'll have to fill me in.
Well, he was the band conductor for the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Okay. Just like Dave, he played trumpet. I don't understand how you're going to do this. You're going to conduct that big band and play trumpet at the same time. I mean, the first thing that hit my mind was Doc Severinsen. I mean,
it's not so much. Yeah, it's not so much. The whole thing with the pop symphonic concept is a symphony that plays like a band.
Right.
So I'm not going to be conducting every single note the whole time. My concept is to, again, count it off, let them play. I'll cue what I need to, conduct what I need to conduct. But it's really just entrusting to the musicians to put their own expression on it and play ball.
Yeah. Growing up, I mean, I've always been a music fan. I love the horn sections of like Chicago, Blood, Sweat, and Tears back in the day. Even like some of the current bands like Dave Matthews and Bruce Springsteen with Clarence at the time. The very first album I bought ever was in 1965.
Oh, he brought props.
Oh yeah, and it was Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. This was the very. I have about 1,000 vinyl LPs at home. And this is the very first one I bought. I think I bought it because of the girl in the cake. And at the time, I just found out she was 3 months pregnant when they shot this.
Oh, man. I think wearing that cake is maybe how she got pregnant.
Maybe.
Herb Alpert and Chuck Mangione were the two first trumpet players that I ever heard.
Oh.
And at the time I first started playing was Herb Alpert came out with a hit called Rise in 1979.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck Mangione had a hit on his first Grammy was Feel So Good.
Feel So Good, yes.
77. And actually, George Denny at his house over there on Bear's Den,
right,
put the record on. And then once I listened to Chuck Mangione, I was hooked forever.
Yeah, my wife and saw him in concert probably somewhere around. We got married in 1980, so we probably saw him in concert around 1981 or 82, and he put on just this fabulous show. Fabulous.
Yeah.
I understand by reading the article in the Vindicator today that Chuck Mangione actually gave you his hat.
Yes.
Wow. Do you still have it?
No, I gave it back to him. He wanted it back. He said it was his lucky hat. He was going to send me another one, but he kind of never did, and I let it go. But we've
sure.
To grow up and meet your childhood idol and share the stage with him and become friends with him, And I remember watching, I think it was 94 or 95. Cleveland Indians were was it the World Series with the Marlins?
They were in the World Series in 95 with the Braves and
Yeah.
97 with the Marlins.
97.
It was,
Yep.
it was 97. Just hanging out with Chuck Mangione at the Dakota, at his house in the village. I mean, not in the village, in Central Park. So I became yeah.
It's like
Still
Indiana Jones with the hat. It's like, you can borrow it, but I want that back.
Right.
Superpowers in that thing.
Particular put on me, it was his lucky hat. It's a Sicilian pork pie hat or something.
That's cool. That's cool though. That was really neat. So reading your bio, and correct me if I'm wrong, 12 different bands you manage? 12. How do you do that?
With a lot of help and delegation.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I employ roughly around 100 musicians in town, all freelance contractors, and I get called to do mostly corporate events now because the lounges have kind of phased out in Vegas. It's mostly now just headliners and corporate events, big corporate events, and of course my work with the Raiders. So a lot of events want different style bands, different genres. So I just decided during COVID, I would put together and tweak all these different styles of bands. So basically it's one-stop shop. If you go to my website, click on the bands, you can just pick your poison. And if it's not there, I'll create it for you. Because a lot of times event managers want something special, sure. And we're happy to accommodate, We're from Youngstown. We know how to hustle.
Right, exactly. In fact, one of my favorite quotes, as you were talking about delegating, is from Lee Iacocca. And what he said is, I hire smarter people than me and I get out of their way. And that's how you become successful.
No doubt.
Yeah, it's just people with the same vision or same like-mindedness, same passion. And when you believe and feature them, and they can do a better job than you in some ways, then that's what they're, it's all for the one. So, and everyone benefits from it. And again, it's that team, me playing sports growing up, you learn that team kind of thing as well.
Right.
That's fantastic. So David, you mentioned on your website, could you give us that website one more time?
Yeah. DavidPerricomusic.com.
So if we hypothetically, we want to come see you in Youngstown. That's going to be down here at Dior. You mentioned Valentine's Day. And again, Jackie from the Vindies will be joining you for that, and the Youngstown Symphony Orchestra. So that's going to be a show to see. So David, I would imagine you don't put these shows on is this the first time in Youngstown ever doing this?
Yes.
That's awesome.
That
this is get there if you can.
Weren't you in town recently for that Dana music celebration of some sort?
Yeah,
so,
there was 50 years of alumni under Tony Leonardi, who was our instructor, or 40 years alumni, whatever it was. Musicians from all over the planet, mostly the United States, I would say, who studied at Dana School of Music. And under Tony Leonardi, his daughter, Paula Leonardi, spearheaded the whole Herculean project to get us all together. We all came in and we put on a concert, a benefit concert to raise money for the Tony Leonardi Scholarship.
Right.
And it was about 40 musicians.
That's
all
great.
highly credentialed, accredited, amazing, successful musicians that have come through that program under Tony Leonardi.
Right. So I'm sure you heard about what's going on with Dana at Youngstown State. You have any thoughts about that? Any feelings that you want to share with us?
Yeah, I'm still getting bits and pieces of it. I see there's some political things going on, and there's also some business things going on.
Right.
I really can't. The only comment I can make is from an artistic standpoint. The arts always seem to be cut first when there's any kind of budget thing. So I think that has to stop and figure out how to subsidize that, because the arts is a very specialized field. It's not like engineering where you have 35 students in a class. You may have one super talented or two or a handful of super talented, let's just say fashion designers or composers or media, whatever it is, that still needs to be available to them. So that's, I kind of have a rub with cutting things. That said, from a business standpoint, if numbers aren't there, that's always the easy way to do things. But I think Dana will recover and figure out how to reformat. But the other thing too is, you have to look at today's state of music.
Mm-hmm.
What's really happening, and how are the universities adapting to offer a music degree that's going to benefit you to go out and work, other than becoming a band director or something. So there's a few things at play there, and I think if I could be involved in any way to help, I would love to be involved, and maybe this concert can spark some interest in the validity of what live music can do in an orchestral symphonic standpoint, because it's super powerful.
Right.
I think we clip that right there and we shoot that out to the whole city of Youngstown and the board of directors, because, I was always a teacher and a coach, and obviously sports are important to a lot of people. Music is important to a lot of people. And like you said, it's unfortunate that like sometimes something has to get cut. And for those people that are super talented in music, like yourself, like someone that might play the saxophone, someone that might be a vocalist, it's like they need an outlet to show their skills off, just like someone on the football field, just like someone on the basketball court.
Yeah, and talent is about 30% of the equation. I mean, you could have all the talent, as from a sports standpoint or even education standpoint. We know what you're capable of, but what's it going to take to get there? And that's where you learn your discipline to bring out that skill set and that natural talent, so you can really, really become something, because talent's only going to get you so far.
Amen.
I mean, it really is. I mean, I don't want to sound cliche, but I've run into that. A lot of things came easy to me from a talent standpoint, but once you get to about 17, 18, 19, 16, you start seeing your peers who have just as much talent and they're better than you because they're working discipline. So that's where the talent, and that's where going to school, learning that. And then on the other flip side of the coin, faculty really needs to be up to speed. What's going on in the entertainment community? How are we going to attract students? How are we going to get potential students to want to come to Dana School of Music? That's comes through recruitment, just like in sports, you have your scouts.
Right.
You really need to do that, and whatever's at Dana School of Music, get it out there more, get it out in the schools, travel it. I mean, it's still an incredible school with talented, amazing professors and teachers and adjunct faculty. So I think maybe this was a long time coming with this. These things don't happen overnight, and it's the bubble burst, and okay, let's see what's going on. Let's figure out. It's there's only solutions here now.
Great advice.
Yeah, in fact, I totally understand about how the arts and music is always the first department to get cut. Our granddaughter, who's in Pittsburgh, she's 15, and she goes to a high school out there called Baldwin. Their high school is noted more for music and theater than sports. They're really poor in sports, which is okay. It still brings in the money, but their theater department every year wins all these Gene Kelly Awards. And there's some fabulous actors, singers, musicians there. They had a girl, I think it was 4 years ago. She was a senior, and she actually wrote the last play for that year. And it was a musical. It was about these three kids that leave San Francisco during the 60s to go to New York to see Woodstock. And on their way, they're stopping at different venues to see all these different bands. And the parents are trying to track them down. It was a really great, entertaining play.
That Baldwin Wallace? Is that what you said?
No, the Baldwin High School of Pittsburgh.
Okay. Yeah. Fantastic to hear. And again, that comes from the program, that comes from funds that are, behind that.
Right.
There's ways to do it. There's always ways to do it.
And when she did this, she did it to the point it was a fundraiser for Make-A-Wish. And through these 3 plays, she actually raised like $30,000 that she gave to the Make-A-Wish Foundation in Pittsburgh. So, and now she has a scholarship at UCLA.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I love to.
So, David, obviously coming up, we got the concert here in Youngstown. Before that, a few days, and I don't know if you're going to be in Youngstown or Vegas, but a couple days before your concert, there's this pretty big event going on in Las Vegas. You might have heard of it, the Super Bowl. We have a Youngstown owned. Well, the owners are sometimes here in Youngstown, but the 49ers and the Chiefs. Are you going to be around in Vegas for any of that craziness that's going on there?
Yes, absolutely. Starting Monday, the 5th, we're performing every day at a lot of corporate event parties, Super Bowl parties.
Right.
Events. And then the Super Bowl day game, we will not be in the stadium, as the Super Bowl has their own entertainment that they're bringing in, and they're not going to. We were pitched, but they didn't want to, So I think we're playing before the game. One of my smaller bands is playing at the Luxor pregame, kind of a tailgate, and then post-game we might be doing something. We're still on call for that.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But yeah, all week leading up, we're playing events. It's pretty crazy.
I can only imagine, because Vegas is crazy enough, and then you add the whole Super Bowl element, and it's going to be insanity out there. But I'd imagine it's going to be a lot of fun too. So
we just recently had the Formula One race in November. That was crazy. And then Raiders House Band 2 years ago, the draft was here in town.
Yes, that's right.
And there was 400,000 people at the draft or something, some crazy number like that. Maybe probably millions. I don't know. But we played for the draft live, and that was phenomenal. That was absolutely phenomenal.
All right, I'm going to wrap it up here soon. I know Joe has a couple more questions too, but I want to ask you 2 things, and it's kind of a 2-part question. So, outside of Allegiant Stadium, your home venue, your big venue, what is your favorite venue or place to perform in Vegas besides Allegiant Stadium?
Oh, the Smith Center, without a doubt.
And tell us what that is for those who haven't been there.
Smith Center is our fine and performing arts. So the Smith Center has 2. There's a couple different venues in it. The main hall, which you saw that promo from, is Reynolds Hall, which holds about 2,000 people. And then there's also Myron's Cabaret, which we've been performing for the last 10 years. We do about 6 shows a year there. We've had 60 sold out shows the last decade. We've been, and that would be the state of the art, classy, just a great environment, phenomenal, just fantastic. That said, I would say also Caesar's Palace. When we played at Caesar's Palace at the Barge, that was, it was just crazy. So I mentioned the Sopranos. Steve Sciarippa and Mike Imperioli would come in and hang out with us.
That's awesome. Wow. Eat some gabagool afterwards.
Right. Yep.
Now, to follow that up, if people want to come out to Vegas, but maybe the Raiders aren't, home that weekend, but they maybe want to see one of your bands play, is that something we can check out on the website to maybe see if you guys are doing something during the week or on a weekend?
Yeah. The best thing is just send me you can look at the calendar. A lot of times it's not, it's updated, but I don't post any, we could be playing 12 events next week, but they're all corporate, so I don't post those.
Sure.
You just see the Smith Center dates.
Okay.
But you could always send an email through the website. It comes to me directly, or my PR, my publicist. And we're always fanatical about returning emails and messages. Love to hear from people, especially Youngstown. There's so many people that from Youngstown that come out there in town, like Tank DeCiccio and Neil Guerrieri and Email Bertolini, and
It sounds like all Italians.
I was gonna say, I was.
What great tacos from Jay's Hot Dogs.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
he comes out and brings me the Jay's chili sauce. It's awesome. I love it, man. It's so great. So he comes out all the time, and he always has a jar of a container of the chili sauce. It's phenomenal. It's like a taste,
Well, I'm definitely making a trip out to Vegas in the fall, whether it's to the Browns Raiders game or not. We'll bring something out to you. But I would love to come.
Do you like hot peppers and oil?
Oh yeah, there you go.
Come on.
I'll give you one of our jars. One of our jars won this Blue Ribbon Award. Okay, at a Relay for Life. So Dave, I promise you, when he goes out, I'll give him one of our jars.
You got to come out too, Joe.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, you're driving. I'm flying. Remember?
That's right.
I'm one of the few people in Youngstown that does not end. My last name does not end in a vowel, but I respectfully will love to be out there. So one more final question just from me, and then I'll let Joe close. What's your, being from Youngstown, I want to wrap it up with that. What's your favorite memory, favorite thing, favorite place? Give me something, one of your favorites about the city of Youngstown.
Oh, there's quite a few. Look, I loved Mill Creek Park.
Oh God, yes.
Every day in the summer we were fishing. Every day. There was something in Mill Creek. We were just always in Mill Creek Park doing something.
Yeah.
Sled riding, or ice skating on Lake Glacier. Yep. Walking, hiking, getting into trouble, whatever. I would say Mill Creek Park would probably be the number one, and then there's so many other little establishments and stuff that
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'd say Mill Creek Park.
Did you ever go swimming at Bort's Pool?
Before my time.
Before your time, okay, yeah, because that was a thing, as you know, living on South Bella Vista. It was just up the road. We would sleep outside, like in our garage, my garage, and there'd be like four of us guys. We would sneak out of the garage like 1 o'clock in the morning, walk down the boards, jump the fence, and go swimming then. I mean, we had some great times there. And Calvary Cemetery was actually the place where I learned how to drive. My dad took me there, and that's where I learned how to drive. Yeah.
How to drive stick shift in a 1981 Chevette.
and as you know, being a part of the Youngstown Marathon, 80% of our race is in Mill Creek Park. I mean, it's listed in Runner's World magazine as one of the top 5% most difficult marathons to run because of all the hills. Yeah. So, yeah. And I'm going to close with this. I got my hat. I am all set and ready to see you on February 14th at Dior at 7:30. My wife and I will be there. Looking forward to meeting you at Penguin City too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Likewise. I thank you for taking time and inviting me on your show. It's great. I mean, I can talk for another hour with you guys, I'm sure. No problem.
Well, hopefully we get a chance to talk to you down at Penguin City after that concert.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I still haven't bought my tickets yet, but I'm checking to make sure I can go. I got two little ones, so I'm just making sure I got coverage at home. And if I got coverage, we're going. So again, February 14th, 7:30, I believe, with the Youngstown Symphony Orchestra, Jackie from the Vindies, another hometown, flair to add to it. It's going to be an awesome concert. And Penguin City afterwards for for the little after party there. But
a nice plug for Penguin City because they normally close at 10 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
My good friend Julie Rosin, who I went to graduated with, she's kind of spearheaded. She has by the way, she has like a raffle.
Yes, she does. Right.
So check her out. She's got a really nice bridal boutique in Beechwood.
Yep.
And, I can't thank her enough for spearheading that, and the Penguin City Brewery for wanting to stay open. They're going to have a food truck there too. I think it's, I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But go ahead, truck, and then I'm sure we'll just have a great time after as well.
I actually take yoga with Julie a couple times a week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Julie's awesome. Well,
She is.
I used to play at her dad's bar, Hands Blue Note Cafe on South Avenue.
Is that right?
Wow.
When I was 19, 20 years old. Yeah. Her dad opened up I know you wanted to end, but little side note about Julie and our relationship. Her dad had that bar and promoted live music. And that was really where I first put together my first band called Kind of. And we would play there on Wednesdays and Saturdays, or Wednesdays and something like that. And that was awesome. So Julie's still helping me out. She's still
great. That's great.
Hey, if you got more questions, keep cooking.
No,
Go for it.
I'm good now.
But David, like, you've taken a lot of your time today. We can't thank you enough. We're really looking forward to your show down here. Hopefully, for those that have never seen, go to our site, go to David's site. We have clips up there. Awesome stuff. Literally music for anyone from literally 5 years old to 105 years old. And it's just great stuff. It gets your feet tapping and get you entertained and maybe get you out of your seat a little bit too.
Yeah. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think they have student discounts too as well.
Okay.
What about senior citizens like me?
They charge you more. You guys got money.
I have my tickets already. We're all set.
Fair enough. No, but David, thank you again. We'll make sure, check out 330. We have stuff posted on there and Youngstown studio page. David, you do a fantastic job, and thank you again for taking the time out of your day and joining us. Still pretty early out there in Vegas, 1:30. So you got the rest of the day ahead of you.
Good. Anytime, guys. Anytime. Love it.
We will definitely reach out again, and Joe and I will get in contact if we get out there for the Browns Raiders out there in the fall as well, and bring you some peppers.
Yep. And most importantly, have a legendary show. I'm sure you will.
Thank you. Looking forward, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, we're us too. So David, again, thank you so much. David Perrico of the David Perrico Pop Symphonic and the Raiders House Band. And I mean, there's like 50 other things on that bio. So does a phenomenal job. Check out his website. Check out all the stuff. Puts out some great content, great shows. So again, Joe Midlick, thanks for joining me today.
Very welcome.
As a co-host. And Joe Danier, BJ are running things behind the scenes. Thank you to them. Next week, we got a couple more shows for you. So everyone, enjoy your weekend. And we will talk to you soon. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. This is original Youngstown content. Feel free to share our videos and tell your friends about us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. Thank you for your